Hi, everybody. Thanks so much for joining. I'm really excited to start what I'm calling a coffee chat series, which is essentially going to be me and other speakers from RISC-V International talking about our different programs and offerings that we have here. There's a lot of free resources we have that I am becoming aware that people just aren't aware of. And so this one I wanted to do because the applications are actually due. One of them is due on the 18th. And I believe the other one's on the 22nd. Let me share my screen so you all can see what I'm looking at. Window, there we go. Okay, good. So you can see this window. So I'll put this link in the chat as well for you. This is the link where you will find all information about our registration scholarships. So this this is for our upcoming RISC-V Summit that's in Santa Clara, California, and it's from the 7th to the 8th. The 6th is going to be Member Day, so that's also an important day for you to participate if you are going to attend the event. So with the scholarships, we have two kinds of scholarship. We have a registration scholarship, which covers the registration to the conference, which is still quite a significant, it's $1,000 scholarship. So that is an opportunity that you have. And then also the other scholarship is the travel funding scholarships. So travel funding, so the registration scholarship just covers the conference pass. Okay. And so anyone can apply for that, but you have to get to the conference yourself and have your own accommodation. So in my mind, that's probably more for people that are local or know somebody locally that you can stay with. And so that's the registration scholarship. So all of our scholarships are based on our interest in including inclusivity. So having a more diverse presence of individuals on site, and then also needs-based. So maybe you know, are doing a lot for the RISC-V community, but your company isn't able to sponsor you to go, or you're an individual and you really want to participate, but you're not able to cover the cost of the conference. So with the travel-based scholarship, that also covers your coach airfare, accommodation at the event date. So you would have Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday nights. So 4 nights of accommodation. And then ground transportation to or from the airport. There's like buses or I think taxi is covered as well. So all the full details on the travel funding scholarship are here. I will go ahead and put this in the chat so you have quick access to it. And you can see the deadline for travel scholarships is September 18th. Let me double check something. Okay, yeah, so they did update it. I asked them to update it to Monday morning. So you have through this weekend to apply for those scholarships. And then if you just want to attend the event, you have until the 22nd. So you have about a week to get those in. So that's basically what they cover. You can read the majority of the information on there. But what I want to talk to you about today is, what is the committee looking at? What are we looking for when we get an application? Well, if you get the travels, I just saw the question. So the question is, can you have both scholarships? If you get the travel scholarship, you also get a registration ticket. Thanks for catching that there. So you get everything. You get a conference pass, you get the travel and accommodation on that ticket. You do need to pay for your own meals, but a lot of the meals, we have lunch every day, and there's, breakfast pastries, and then there's networking events in the evening. So you shouldn't have to buy too much food. Yeah, no problem for confirming that. Thanks for catching it. So what are we looking for in your application? We're looking for individuals that are already contributing to RISC-V. So we're looking at your GitHub. Are you contributing? Are you, even if you're doing, little things, we're just looking to see, are you participating in the community? Are you active in our social media channels? Are you, what does your resume look like? Are you new to RISC-V, or maybe if you're a student, maybe you're year 2 or 3, and you can showcase that you are studying computer sciences, computer engineering, and that you're taking courses on RISC-V. So we're looking for people that aren't brand new to RISC-V, because if you're brand new to RISC-V, starting at the conference isn't the right place, because we really want you to have that basic level knowledge to get in. So I look at resumes, I look at GitHub, I look at your LinkedIn. I look to see sort of like, how can I ensure that you are actually knowledgeable enough in RISC-V that when you show up to this conference that is highly technical, that you're going to be able to engage and interact with people in a productive way, both for yourself and for the community. So these are community scholarships. So it is paid for by RISC-V International. So we're looking for people that are both going to learn, but also contribute at that event. So that's really the basics of it. I'll open it up if anyone has any questions. You're welcome to come on screen if you want. Just let me know, or you can put your question in the chat. And I'll give you some stats while you're thinking of any questions you might have. Last year, I think we brought 24 individuals from all over the world, which is pretty cool. And a lot of those people bonded on site, which was also really awesome. One thing I will mention is visas. So because if you do the travel funding scholarship and you need a visa, you're notified by September 22nd, right? So just take that into consideration. How long, based on your country, does it take for you to get a visa appointment with the US consulate? Or because that is something we've run into a number of times, is sometimes you need more time. So just something to consider, that if you're maybe like, oh, it's going to take me 6 months to get an appointment, maybe I should apply next year, then that's great. Apply for your visa in advance, and then work with us. So we do have visa letters that we create for you, and I believe visa letter request is also on that same website under attend. So if you need a visa letter, you can fill it out there. But yeah, it's fairly straightforward. It's a committee of people that come together to review all the applications. And it is a bit of a time consuming process on our end, because we do go through and look for your GitHub and I think we asked for LinkedIn, I think we asked for resume on the application. But if you are applying and you remember, put your GitHub link into your application where you have questions. How many events can we opt for? So that is a good question. I believe, where are the rules? I believe you can do 1 or 2 events per year. So the Linux Foundation in general does a lot of these travel funding requests across all of our conferences. So not just RISC-V, but any project that is a part of the Linux Foundation. The majority of them do these. And I believe you're only allowed to do 1 or 2 a year. And they do check that. So they do make sure that you have only received 1 or 2 scholarships a year. And if you have received 2, then we don't look at the application this year, but you can apply next year. How much RISC-V knowledge do you think I'd require to attend the conference? I've done the RISC-V microarchitecture project and have a good enough knowledge on RV3 to 1. Would that be enough? Yeah. I mean, we are looking mostly for people that are, it's a lot of students, right? A lot of people that are starting off in their degree. They have knowledge of the industry, but, we're not looking for experts, right? If you're an expert, you likely work at a company that will cover the cost of your travel and scholarship. So yeah, you would be fine with that amount of knowledge. I tend to look for people that are at least 2 years into university, or that can showcase that maybe they've transitioned from another architecture and they're, actively working and learning. Another thing I can recommend is if you've taken the RISC-V fundamentals course or the RISC-V our VFA RISC-V Foundational Associate Certification. Those are easy ways for me to recognize, for the team to recognize that you are actively educating yourself on RISC-V. So we have a lot of free courses as well on our website. Those are good things to include that you've done on your resume or on your LinkedIn. So we have easy access to seeing that. But yeah, you would be fine with that level of knowledge. That sounds good to me. Cool. Any other questions? No, that's it. I love it. I love these coffee chats because they're short and sweet, and really my goal is for me to talk for 10 minutes and then allow people to ask questions. So I'll give it another minute to see if anyone has any questions. Otherwise, I'll make sure that these links are also in the event description, and then what I'll do is I'll put the recording of this into the if you go back to the original event page, the video will be sitting there, and we'll also get it on our YouTube channel. So the scholarship is only for anyone needing financial support, i.e. from certain countries. Well, the scholarship only open for anyone needing. Yes. So it's for people that wouldn't be able to come otherwise, right? So if you work for a major company and your company can sponsor you, then that's not who this is for. This is for individuals who wouldn't be able to afford to come to the conference otherwise, but feel like they would be able to both have a good educational experience and contribute to the conference itself. So certain countries, we do look at making sure that we get people from different global regions. We are looking for diversity, right? I think diversity is something that technology in general could do better at. So we are looking at, diversity qualifications, as well as location, as well as if you're able to cover the cost on your own. Does that answer your question, Sammy? When to start to apply for the conferences? You should have started applying for them now, because the deadline for travel funding is Monday. And so once you apply, and then we let you know by the 22nd. So it's a very quick turnaround. Our team will be getting together on Monday to review these. Yes. As a PhD researcher, definitely you would qualify. Okay, perfect. So yeah, I would start to apply now. I don't think it's a very long application. We can open it up together. Oh, it might not let me do it. Okay. So yeah, so here's what you put in. You do need to put in for the travel funding what you think the total cost will be. So you'll want to look up your airfare, your accommodation, as well as include all costs you're requesting. So I would budget like $60 each way for a cab. I don't think you would need to take a cab. There's definitely other options, but I would do for a cab. And then I would look up your airfare you can fly into either San Jose or San Francisco, I think are your two options to fly into. So look that up and then translate that into US dollars and put that into your request. We do look at the amount that people ask for, right? So for some people it's $4,000, but because we have only so much money, our goal is to get as many people there as possible. So I wouldn't say we are less likely to take you if you have a higher financial request, but it is easier for us to take people with not as high of requests because we want to get as many people there as possible. But we do understand that sometimes it costs $2,000, $2,500 to get from some other countries to the US. But it is a great experience. We do hope you'll write a blog post about it or do a video. Like I said, we love it when everyone meets on site. It's really fun for you to meet other people. And then we'll give everyone their email address in advance so you guys so y'all can connect and have someone that you already know on your first day. Let's see. The next question is, according to you, what should the approximate total cost should be? It really depends on where you're from, honestly, because if you're flying from, I think I saw someone said they're from Chicago. Like if you're flying from Chicago, I would assume it would be, I don't know, under $2,000. But if you're flying from India, which I saw somebody else, it could be as much as like $3,500, right? So look it up and see what your regional cost is. And then we approve that. And basically how it works at the end. So you have to pay for everything up front. That's one thing I forgot to mention. You pay for everything up front yourself. And then after we meet you on site at the conference and we know you're there, we know you've been present, then we reimburse you. So after the conference, you submit I basically send you an email and I have you put all of your receipts and you create an invoice in US dollars. And then we transfer the money to your bank account. So apologies, that is one big part that I didn't mention earlier, is that it is refunded. So we don't pay it in advance. That's just because there's been issues with people saying they're going to go and then they don't, they go to Napa instead. So we want to make sure that you're there physically on site because this is a community-led initiative. And we want to make sure that the scholarships are going to individuals that are really using them to the utmost. Is flight fare? No. Yeah, you include flight and accommodation. And for accommodation, I would look at our website. Venue and travel. So you can just look up the hotel information, which is, I think we're staying at the Hyatt. So I would so you see right here what the cost is. So you would just put in, your 3 or 4 nights accommodation, and then you would include that in the cost that you're asking for on this amount right here. No, so you pick your own flights and accommodation. We don't book anything for you. We don't pay for anything in advance. So you would be wholly responsible of booking and managing your own travel. And if you need to pay baggage fees or anything like that, or visa fees, you need to pay that on your own. But yeah, you would pay all that on your own. So what I have seen people do in the past is they'll look for cheaper accommodation, because the accommodation that the conference is at is usually quite expensive because it's during conference season. So, I mean, you saw, I think it's like $300 a night or something. Yeah. So you can always find cheaper accommodation. I know people have like rented a room in an Airbnb, or when we're in bigger cities, people do hostels or things like that. And that's a good way to like decrease the amount that you actually have to spend and request, because then it's much lower than if you had to ask for, that's $1,000 or more just for accommodation. So yeah, travel and accommodation is all on you. You book so once you're approved, you book everything, you pay for it yourself. And then once you're on site, you get all those receipts together and then you put them in. If I'm not wrong, for the conference on April in Seattle, we need to play. I don't know what conference is in Seattle in April, if I'm honest. The only one I know about is our RISC-V Summit. But I would look, their website would be exactly like this one. And so you would just look for attend and then scholarships, and then that'll show you what their dates are and deadlines. So like I said, there are tons of scholarships from the Linux Foundation. If you work on another open source project that the Linux Foundation supports or is a part of, I would check their event website, because these are such great opportunities. I did one when I was a student, and it literally helped launch my career. So yeah, so sorry, I'm not sure the one that's April. Is that CNCF maybe? Or Open Source Summit North America maybe? Yeah, on their website, it would have their deadlines. Cool. Any other questions? I know it's a lot and it might feel a bit overwhelming. You can always apply it as many as you want. And I think it's just such a great opportunity. It's like I said, I did one of these and it's how I got one of my first event planning jobs, which basically gave me all my next event planning jobs. So I think it's a great opportunity. It's really fun. The people are so friendly, especially when you're coming as a student or someone who's just really eager to meet people. I think it's just a really, really awesome opportunity. Any other questions? We have another minute. And you can always email me if you have questions too. It's just megan@risk5.org. Um, but yeah, I hope you apply. I hope you spread the word too. I mean, I think that's something we're trying to do more of, is make sure that people are aware of these scholarships. And my goal is just to make sure that we're getting good candidates applying, from globally diverse, ethnically diverse regions, to ensure that we're really, spreading the knowledge, and access to RISC-V. Well, cool. It looks like that was the last question. I will thank you all so much for your time and spending your morning and evening with me, and looking forward to hopefully seeing some of you at RISC-V Summit. Thanks, everybody. Have a great day.